Alright, new patch. This is going to be the summer patch. Just a heads up, this new esper is going to be a keepsake esper, so Tetsuya 5-star Inferno. I'll show you the design real quick. The live stream is still ongoing. Alright, so there he is. I think this is a Japanese mythology. Looks pretty cool. The design looks pretty cool. He's gonna be a fighter Inferno. And he's gonna be a single target DPS. Ability 1 attacks enemy 2 times. After Ascension, each attack dispels 1 buff from the target. Ability 2, Tetsuya always prioritizes attacking the enemy in the corresponding position. He gains AP when the enemy is in corresponding position, takes action, or when the enemy boss is attacked. Gains umbrage at the start of combat. So basically another position-based esper. I thought they said they want to stray away from this at this point, but it seems like they're not. So I think the way he works is if you put him in the 5th slot, he will then target the unit in the 5th slot, right? So this is going to be decent in PvP so that you can somewhat control his AI. Ability 3 is deals damage to one enemy. If the target is a boss, the damage increases. If the enemy is not buff, ignores some of their defense. The more buffs the target has, the less defense can be ignored. Okay. If the target is killed, extends the duration of umbrage or regains umbrage. If the target isn't killed, removes umbrage. And umbrage is immune to petrification and freeze. While stealth is active, takes less damage from AoE. So he is also gonna gain stealth buff. Although it doesn't say anywhere that he can gain stealth. Probably it's inbuilt with the umbrage buff, right? But it doesn't say right here. Alright, so R1, Furious Jaws that deals more damage, which is his S3. R2 is if the enemy is not buff, ignores a greater percentage of their defense. R4 is when taking lethal damage, he won't fall. Instead, he dispels all of his debuffs, recovers HP, and gains umbrage for a few turns. Triggers once per battle. This is kind of needed at this point in PvP. If you don't have like a cheat death mechanic, or if you're not tanky like Wu Yu, then you're not going to survive in PvP, right? So if any unit in the future does not get any like cheat death mechanic, you can safely say that that unit is not going to work on PvP anymore. It's kind of like Moriyama as well. If you don't have an R4 Moriyama at this point, he really doesn't do much. You need to specifically go against like enemy teams that isn't like too tanky for you to kill them off. So if you want to use this guy in PvP, you definitely need to have his R4. R6 is killing an enemy resets all ability cooldowns. When umbrage is active, attacks ignores some of the target's damage mitigation. He's mostly a PvE esper because of this section right here. If it's a boss, then the damage increases, and he can also ignore defense as well. He might be good for some False to Fantasy teams, but you might need to go for his R2, which again, he is a keepsake esper. So if you get unlucky, you might not get his R2. Alright, Summer Bash theme show. This one is going to bring back Reincarnation Tower, but they did do some changes to this. After you clear the 16th floor, you'll enter a special boss stage, which cannot be defeated. And your goal is to deal as much damage as possible within a certain number of cycles. The old Reincarnation Tower was based off of your lowest turn count from floor 1 to floor 16. Now the leaderboard will be based on how high you can deal damage, which in my opinion this one's better because this event is not that pay to win. I don't think you even need to own the esper for you to use them in Reincarnation Tower. So free to play and whales will have the same espers to choose from. Okay, this one is new, Boom Boom's Island Pack. Board game based on the Union mascot Boom Boom. Every tile on the board hides reward. Spend the dice to move forward on the board. So basically just Boom Boom gacha. But they did some changes as well. There are special tiles on the board. When Boom Boom lands on one, party time will trigger, turning all the rewards on the board into the same mystery reward. He did show it in the live stream. Alright, there we go. So it changes all of the rewards to Nexus crystals. I don't know how much it's gonna give you, but it seems like there's gonna be multipliers, like times 4 on the corner pieces. Alright, Mystery Dive. This one is going to be the place where you can get Javid's skin. I'll show you real quick. So here's his skin. I don't really care about skins, but it is a free skin at the end of the day. Island Whispers is going to be the place where you summon for Tetsuya. Tropical Ascent is the battle pass. We're also going to get Abyssal Trials and Memory Rift. And also Loyalty chest number 9, where it gives for Mitsuki, Uran, Ife, Brewster, Sienna. So basically the same as the last patch. Limited time echo event we're going to get the first week. Javid and Lapis. Javid is getting a buff. And then Brewster and Feng Shun in the second week. Intisar, and Lusheng in the last week. Championship is also going to be back. It's going to give you the championship coins, not a new esper. And then some balance adjustments for Javid. So Divine Might attacks all enemies dealing damage equals to attack and inflicts Seer for 2 turns. Deals extra true damage to targets afflicted with Judgment Seal. True damage is a certain percentage of their max HP up to 100% of his attack. Gains AP upon landing a crit. It is changed to the limit on the extra true damage has been increased from 100 to 200%. So double. New passive, whenever enemy takes true damage, increases attack permanently up to a limit. Also gains AP. Triggers once per turn against each target. Judgment Seal is when the target inflicted with Judgment Seal, the carrier, takes a hit. Deals splash damage, also true damage to 2 of their teammates, excluding the carrier themselves, randomly. So this is the old one. And it has been changed to the limit on splash damage dealt by Judgment Seal has been increased from 50% to 200% of his attack. So this is basically just the Transcendence effect, but instead of making it like through the championship, he just gets the buff without doing anything, right? Sacred Flame is dispels all dot effects from him before he attacks, and then deals extra damage based on the number of dot effects dispelled, up to 50% of the damage. And it has been changed to deals extra damage for each debuff dispelled. Extra damage per debuff dispelled is up to 200% of his attack. They also changed his R4. The old one is heals upon killing an enemy, and then the new one is Sacred Flame now grants immunity to sleep, stun, and petrification, and it dispels all debuffs from Javid instead of just dot effects before he launches an attack. And then he also retains the old R4 as well. They also changed his R6, and the old one is... Oh, basically the old R6 is moved to his R4, and a new effect is added, which is gains Sacred Flame for 2 turns at the start of combat. And another new effect, absorbs damage based on attack, resets the cooldown of Eternal Light, and gains 1 extra turn when this effect ends. Okay, Eternal Light is his S3, right? I'm pretty sure this is his S3, so he's gonna get a bunch of turns because whenever the enemy takes true damage, he's gonna gain AP. And at R6, he's also gonna gain 1 extra turn when the Eternal Light ends. And also reset the cooldown, right? Oh, and also we are getting a new Japanese esper as well in the next patch, I think. Alright, so this is gonna be another Japanese myth esper. It looks like Ninetale, but Tom said this is Inari no Okami, which is basically the god of rice. Look at this, Inari Okami, the god of rice. Oh man, yo, this is gonna be the peak of Dislyte right here. I mentioned this in my one of my first videos where we didn't have like hype gods. This is the hypest of all the gods. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like Ninetales or something. That would be cool, but this is just the god of rice. We got the god of rice before GTA 6, by the way. So yeah, that's about it. The new esper seems mostly just for PvE. Depending on his multipliers, I think he might be good for False Sort of Fantasy. Although he doesn't have like any outside of turns damage, he only ignores defense. So if he's not hitting like crazy hard, then I think he's not going to be that good for bossing contents. In Shadow Gale, if you already have Meta Drew, then his ignore defense portion is going to be useless, right? Because Meta Drew already reduces the enemy's defense to 0. It might be good for False Sort of Fantasy, but who knows? I think he's not going to be that good. He might be good for PvP, but only when you get him R4. If you don't have him at R4, just don't bother in PvP, because he's just gonna die. As for the Javid buff, I think he's still gonna be pretty bad, even though the numbers are super jacked up, right? 200% of his attack. It's really not gonna do much in PvE. In PvP, if you have him at R6, he might work because of this absorb damage based on attack, and you give him the Chuya buff, then he might survive. But he doesn't have any cheat death mechanic, so and he doesn't have any like damage reduction, right? He only has shield. And shield sometimes doesn't really work that well in PvP because R6 Chuyao can reduce the amount of shield that you can get. You know, buff block also kind of cucks this guy, even if you do have him in R6 and you gain a lot of shield. So in PvP he's not gonna survive, and in PvE he's a true damage esper, so he's not gonna do much. You cannot crit on the true damage unless they did some changes to his true damage where it can crit, right? But if it can't crit, then you can pretty much rule him out from any PvE contents, except for like maybe Yinglong. So yeah, that's about it. We are soon going to get the hypest of all the gods, The god of rice. That's about it, ciao.